These are some new friends that I met over in Orlando. Went to a veterinary conference up there, and I was really intrigued because of their veterinary products for skin products and shampoos, and essentially for dermatological reasons. And the most important thing is we now have an approved sunscreen for dogs and horses, right?
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. Doc, I'm going to let you take off. I'm going to get over to the side, introduce the products, and your guest is standing with you, and then we'll get one of our pets up on the table and we can show them how it works, okay?
Sounds great, thank you.
You bet.
Let me first of all introduce Jackie Rockwood. Jackie Rockwood is part of the staff and our assistant today for introducing the Epi-Pet Vet product line for skin and ears for pet. It's really a natural ingredient based product line, with the exception of the sunscreen, which we'll spend some time on, which is the only non-natural ingredient based product in the line. It is a drug, just like all other sunscreens, and we'll share that with you as we do a demonstration on one of the candidates that should be getting sunscreen every day, as many of the pets need to have sunscreen daily for the protection against both sunburn and for skin cancer, just like people. First of all, I'd like to introduce the topical spray for the skin. This is a Epi-Pet Vet topical spray. What this has done is used on a daily basis for the pet, and it has three components to it. It has a medical component to it, where it's antimicrobial, antifungal, and anti-yeast, and it also is anti-inflammatory or anti-itch. And by that, what we're saying is that if you have an itchy, scratchy, hot spot allergy dog, that this is a product that should be used topically, and generally is to be used along with the veterinary treatment, which is we call a systemic treatment, where the doctor introduces an injection into the pet or introduces oral medication. That's a systemic treatment. But the new studies show that if you use the systemic treatment that the doctor performs and you use the daily topical, that you'll have faster, more complete, and longer lasting recovery to all of your skin issues. As I indicated, that the topical spray has a medical and has a hygiene effect, and it also has insect repelling effect too. So consequently, when you use this topical product, you'll be reversing all of the infection part, but you'll also be moisturizing the skin and providing skin conditioning, and at the same time a little aromatherapy. Now the aromatherapy is not just for the smell, but it's kind of nice to have the smell along with it. And the Epi-Pet Vet product comes in two different types of scents, the lavender and the cedar mint, and for cats or for people that are allergic to the essential oils, it comes in the unscented also. The third area that I was talking about that you have a need with this particular product, calling it an all-purpose product, is for the insect repelling. And just recently, the veterinary profession has recognized that the kill products that you use for fleas and ticks, the spot-ons and the oral medication and the collars, those only work when the bug actually jumps onto the body of the pet. So the integrated approach is to use those products, but also try to repel or resist those bugs from getting on the individual. The shampoo, again, is also an all-purpose shampoo, and this really complements the topical spray. So in the past, many veterinarians and many recommendations were to use shampoos more frequently. If you're using the topical spray, that eliminates that messiness that you have when you're trying to bathe so frequently with your pet. But it complements the topical spray, and you have many of the same ingredients and the same functions in the shampoo that you have in the spray. So now you don't have to bathe every week or twice a week when you have skin issues. You can bathe maybe every other week and use the topical spray daily. Sometimes you have to use it multiple times a day, especially on areas of the skin where you seem to have the greatest effect. The third product, before I get to the sunscreen, which is a really unique product, before I get to the sunscreen, I want to point about the ear cleaning, and we're also going to demonstrate proper ear cleaning for the pet. But the unique thing about this particular ear cleaner is for all you people that are worried about greasiness that comes from ear cleaners or really bad smells, this has a pleasant odor and it's greaseless, but it's the only ear cleaner, whether in the veterinary market or in the human market, that targets and treats the skin of the outer ear canal. So that's a lot of mumbo jumbo medical information about a specific area of treatment. But believe it or not, the lining of the outer ear is all skin. So we decided that we would treat that skin, and of course the resolution of the issues that you have are resolved a lot more quickly, a lot more effectively, and last longer. And we'll show you the proper way of doing that. And finally, the signature product of the Epi-Pet vet line is the sunscreen, as Doc was introducing, and he said that we have a patient over here who's a top candidate for it. Think of the recommendations for the pet to be the same recommendations that you would have for yourself. You, of course, want to keep the pet out of the sun during the intense time of the day, which is 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock, when the sun is very, very intense. But in addition to that, just like us, when we're out in the sun, we're subject to both sunscreen and, of course, excessive amount of UVA, UVB light that comes from the sun can have an effect of producing tumors, particularly skin cancer. And there's been a number of skin cancers that have been identified in the pet that are specifically caused by the excessive sun rays. Squamous cell carcinoma, basal cell carcinoma, and the melanomas, just like in the people, have been implicated. Who are the best candidates for that? It's kind of like humans. You know, the fair-skinned people are the ones that are most subject to excessive sun and develop sunburn early. And of course, once they develop sunburn over a period of time, they can be damaging the skin and setting up those conditions for skin cancer. So think of it the same way for the pets. Think of the short hair, light or white-skinned pets. Those are your top candidates. And they all need to be protected for it. And the unique thing about this particular sunscreen is that it's in a bag-on valve, which allows you to spray in all different ways to apply the product to the pet. We'll also give you a demonstration of that to show you how easy it is, but how important it is, recognizing that, and the Morris Animal Foundation has already done a study on this, but 30% of all the cancers in the dog originate from the skin. So 30% of all the cancers that we find in pets originates from the skin. And many of those are triggered, if not caused by, the UVA, UVB light in excessive amounts. Okay, we now have Maisie and John, who's Maisie's pet owner. And what we're going to do is we're going to demonstrate how simple it is to use this topical spray, which should be used on a daily basis. Actually, we'd like to spray just the pet, but I'll probably spray Jackie too as I'm doing this. But you use liberally, just apply the spray to the to the pet. And make sure that you put plenty over the tail head, behind the underneath the tail, underneath. And then look at the coat, the fur coat. In order to get the product down to the skin, what you need is an applicator brush. And we use the Epi-Pet Vet applicator brush, which is a two-sided brush, which has a wire prong on one side and a synthetic bristle on the other. So we want to use the prong side and start up and go over the entire body, just gently brush through the pet, and that brings the product, drives it from the fur down into the skin, making special emphasis to worry about over the tail head, the tail, underneath the tail, come down the top of the legs. Make sure you do the front of the chest. Whoops, knocking everything over here. And do the front of the chest again underneath here with the probe. But please don't use the probe in between the back legs. The skin is very thin and very sensitive there. Then very quickly turn the brush over to disperse this over the body equally. Don't forget you have that effect of the insect repellent. You want that over the entire body if you can. Then very simply, put a small amount in your hand, come up and rub the head. Don't worry about getting it in the eyes. It doesn't bother, just don't spray it in the eyes. Then you have a little bit left here. You might want to put that on the inside of the ear flap. And don't forget about the antimicrobial, fungal, and yeast effect, and that's where you get a lot of yeast. Put a little bit more in your hand, come back and rub in between the back legs, come down and rub each of the legs, and make sure you do the feet. Remember, it won't be long before you're going to have those grass allergies that are going to be affecting the feet. Do the same thing in the front, come down and do the in between the toes on the front, and you're done. Now, if we have an area, let's say that you have a hot spot, you have an allergy and you have a hot spot. You would do the entire dog every day once like this, but for that particular area, you might want to apply the product maybe multiple times during the day, 3, 4, even 5 times. Every time you can remember it, before you go to work, when you come home from work, after dinner, maybe before you go to bed. And let's say that we have a little hot spot over the tail, just put a little bit in your hands and rub it in. And there's a pleasant odor from this. This is the Epi-Pet Vet Lavender one, which is very popular, particularly very popular amongst the female gender. The male gender seems to like the cedar mint, and they both have the same effect on the individual. So now you've treated your skin infections, you've treated the itching and the scratching, you've treated all of the poor condition of the skin, you've moisturized the skin, you've provided skin conditioning, and in addition to that, now you have insect repelling capabilities, and it's a natural ingredient-based product. And now we're going to show you how to properly clean the ears. Properly cleaning the ears is many different ways, but my properly cleaning ears is really the best way because it's most comfortable for the pet. Now, again, if you have skin issues, and don't forget, as I mentioned, don't feel alone because 75% of what the doc is going to be seeing, particularly at this time of the year on an outpatient basis, is going to be skin and ears. Why ears? Because, as I said, the outer lining of the skin of the outer lining of the canal is made of skin. So consequently, if you have skin issues here, you're going to have skin issues inside the ear. So with the proper recommendations of your veterinarian, part of that will be for appropriate ear cleaning. And to properly clean the ears, one should not take the ear cleaner and shoot it into the ear like this. We don't want to flush the ear. There's a couple of reasons for that. Number one is the reason why you don't want to do it is because they start shaking like this, and there's a lot of pressure. And if you press too hard, you may break the eardrum. The second reason is that it's very uncomfortable for them, and if they feel uncomfortable when you're starting to treat them, then they're going to feel uncomfortable the rest of the time during treatment. So the best way to do this is to take a cotton ball, saturate the cotton ball, put the cotton ball in the hole of the ear. I call it the bell of the ear. Take both sides of the bottom of the ear flap and squeeze. Just squish it. And what you're doing is you're driving that product down into the outer ear canal. Then you take the cotton ball that you have and you twist it. If you twist it, that means the tip of the cotton ball is going to go down farther. And then you come up and you rub the inside flap of the ear like so. See how dirty that ear can be? Then you take a couple of dry cotton balls, do the same thing, go down into the ear, twist it, go down as far as you can with your finger, and I'm getting a long ways down into this canal, and then come right back up and wipe that flap. Why am I wiping that flap? Because that flap has fungal and yeast infection in it, and don't forget that this product is antifungal and anti-yeast. And I'm going to do one more time on this particular ear. And as I do that, notice how comfortable this is. We're not seeing the head flop around all over and make it difficult for you to do this. And the recommendations are, again, it depends on the seriousness of the ear infection or the ear involvement. But generally speaking, when you're trying to maintain, you should use this twice a week. You should be cleaning twice a week. The recommendations are when you're under a full-blown infection, that maybe they have to be cleaned every day along with the other medications that you may be using. Another real trick with this particular ear cleaner that I need to talk to you about, and you need to ask your veterinarian about this, but what you can do with this particular ear cleaner is that if you take cotton balls and you saturate that cotton ball with the ear cleaner, and then you put this in the microwave for just a couple of seconds, and then you bring that warmed cotton ball with the saturated ear cleaner on it, this becomes a tear stain remover. So let's say that I have already nuked this particular cotton ball, and then you can simply wipe the tear stains with this cotton ball, all right? In addition to that, if you've got the muzzle or the salivary stains, it will reduce those too. And sometimes when they take that, they have the licky feet, they go down and lick the feet, and then you get the stains on the feet. So this will also help remove the stains on the feet. Furthermore, another great trick to do is, if you're going to be bathing your dog, you should take the ear cleaner, put it in your hands or put it on a cotton ball and really saturate the cotton ball. Put tons of it where the eye stains are. Put tons of it where you have look at them lick this, and they say, that tastes good. Put that around the muzzle where you have all the stains, and again, saturate the feet with the ear cleaner. Then take your Epi-Pet Vet shampoo and bathe, and most of the stain will be removed immediately with that particular treatment approach. So that's just a little trick that you can do with this. And again, there's a lot of little tricks that you can do to help out the skin of the pet with the Epi-Pet Vet line. That completes this. I'm not going to clean the other ear for you right now. We're going to leave that for John to do later. Thanks. You're welcome. But what we'll do now is we'll demonstrate the sunscreen application and talk a little bit more about the importance of using that. And I think everybody is recognizing today, even more so than 4 or 5 years ago, about the importance of sunscreen protection for the pet.
Again, we're back here with a group of our friends, and Montezuma and Piriel. I got Billy the Beagle down there. But Monty being a white dog, I'm always concerned about skin cancer on his nose. And then you see how red his eyes are around these areas right here. So I know that you have a sunscreen now that's out there for him, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay. And with us today is also Patrick from Barkbusters up in Lee County.
G'day.
Patrick, how are you doing? Good day.
I'm great.
That's it. And everyone knows Mr. Glass from Collier County with Barkbusters. And we're going to look at some of the pets today with them, but I thought you guys would be interested in hearing about a sunscreen because I know you see a lot of pets.
Yes.
Okay, so you know what's out there. Doc, tell me about what you have.
Well, first of all, veterinarians can't go to a seminar or a symposium with the dermatologist without the dermatologist spending 15 or 20 minutes on sun protection and the use of sunscreen for that protection. 5 or 6 years ago, we really didn't have much discussion about it, but we now recognize that 30% of all of the malignant tumors that are on the canine originate from the sun, from the skin and the activity of the excessive sun rays on the skin. The candidates, this is a perfect candidate for the sunscreen sun protection because it's a short-haired, white or pink skin individual, and you'll already see that there's damage to the nose where there's been sun damage that is really irreversible. And what we want to do is we want to protect that area so that the excessive sun that it's going to be seeing, even if it's just going to the dog park for an hour, going outside to potty, that's too much sun for that particular area. So again, the recommendations for using the sunscreen sun protector is the same information that you would have for a human. It needs to be applied at least on a daily basis, and in some instances, if the pet is at the beach and jumping in the water or spending a lot of time at the dog park, then it needs to be re-administered just like human sunscreen every few hours.
What rating does it have?
This has, although the FDA does not allow a rating to be put on the bottle, and what Dr. Randall's asking is the SPF value, The SPF value is a 30 plus as it's related to human. There is no testing that we can make claims for the particular protection or the efficacy of the
What's the name of the product?
The name of the product, again, is the Epi-Pet Sunscreen Sun Protector.
All right, and now Monty's a little bit afraid when he hears aerosols. Like if you're cleaning your keyboard, he thinks that he's done something wrong and he'll start backing off. I don't know what that's all about, but, you know,
Well, the behavior
I'll let you
should
guys
help
do that.
those guys, yeah.
Associations. All right, so anyway, how noisy is it, or can we try it on him? And what about his eyes? I will tell you this, when I go and put on sunblock and I'm down to the Keys or something, I'll use like the Neutrogena. I'll take my glasses off and I'll just get paper towels, put over my eyes, and I spray around my face. And then I'll spray the back of my hand, I'll rub it to my nose that way. Because obviously I don't want it in my eyes, but I want to try to get it as close as possible. So, you know, I walk out on the deck, I kind of look like a crazy person. You know, here I've got this paper towel mask on my face, and, you know. But could you either show us, or let me hear how loud that is?
Yeah,
what would you suggest as far as spraying the dog?
Let me demonstrate for you. And it's interesting that this is in this sun protector is in a bag-on valve, which means that you can spray in every way. Once you turn it properly so that you can spray. So what I usually do...
That's exactly why you're here, right?
Yeah,
there. Okay.
that's why I need my assistant. What you do is you just put a spray on the top, a spray on the bottom. Just take your hands and rub it in. And this is an important area here. As you can see, there's very little fur, very little hair there. And the skin happens to be the thinnest there as it is any place on the body. So this is where they get a lot of sunburn. And think of it as a reflection off of the cement, off of the ground, off of the sand if you're at the beach. So this is a particularly important area to be covering. Then to apply it to the head, you don't spray, as Doc was doing to himself. You put it in your hands and you apply it. You don't have to worry about getting in the eye once you're here. Just don't spray it in the eyes. And then you want to make sure that you cover these areas in particular where you have the sunburn damage already on this individual. And then I always put a little bit more in my hand, and I make sure that I get those ear flaps.
Oh, and those are great ears, aren't they?
Those are great.
Did you feel his ears?
No, I
feel,
didn't.
feel his ears.
Oh, wow.
And aren't they
felt the
great?
ears, and I guess they're great ears.
They are.
Okay.
People all the time sit there and say, "Oh my gosh, can I touch his ears? They're great."
Yeah.
Therapeutic ears.
Exactly.
And really, that's the simplicity of applying this product. Now, you need to understand that the Epi-Pet Sunscreen Sun Protector is the only legal pet sunscreen. It's labeled for dogs and for horses, but it is used on a number of pig farms throughout the United States. Unfortunately, it can't be used on cats because two of the sunscreen ingredients convert themselves to salicylic acid or aspirin, and the FDA certainly doesn't want us putting aspirin on cats.
All right, Doc. I can tell you this: you can at least stop by Big Cypress Animal Clinic, and we're going to carry a supply of this, so you can pick it up at any time. And I know it's affordable. Any other place they can get it from?
In this particular area?
Big Cypress Animal
Come
Clinic.
by Big Cypress
Come on, that's
Animal
all you need
Hospital.
to do. Come on in.
Is it good for white poodles?
It's particularly important when I'm describing this particular individual with the short hair, white skin. There's a number of breeds that are important. And the number of breeds that are important are breeds like boxers, which are the #1 dog for skin cancer, Weimaraners, and poodles. Also, if your dog is groomed, and they groom the dog where they actually take the coat completely off of the individual, so it's down to the bare skin, then there is absolutely no protection from the sun, and it's very, very susceptible for sunburn. And it's recommended that any of those dogs that are groomed, that they apply this product at least for 3 to 4 weeks after the groom.
Just light spray like that once a day. All right. Let me tell you something too. I'm telling you, Monty is really kind of wired up right now. There's a female that he thought he was going to go on a date with, and he did not go on a date. He's kind of nervous and stuff, but he did a great job with that
He
spray.
did a great
because
job.
I'm telling you, he really doesn't like aerosols whatsoever. But that's simple, so that's definitely something that.
And you know what? If we were out at the beach and he jumped in the water, this is ultra water resistant and ultra sweat resistant. Of course, that doesn't apply to the
dogs.
dog, but it applies to the horses.
Exactly. All right, guys, we'll be right back after a short break.